I have been trying to use my international friends contact as much as possible ever since I had this free internet video call app on my phone, and that only happened like 1 month ago or so. I realized that I could use that particular app internationally, so I decided to reach out to my brothers and sisters and cousin, niece and nephews, my old high school friends, work friends, and in Japan. And yeah, half of them are kind of successful, but half of them are almost impossible. And just because I think when I reach for the first time is almost always like an email type of thing, because I don't know their phone numbers much, but they somehow this email is very old, or they don't use it anymore, or even though you have an email but they don't open at all, forgotten or something, I guess. And sometime I looked up my old phone book, and like a 20 years old phone book, and I see two numbers there. So I got this Talk 360, which is very nice. You pay like a $10 or $20, and then you have a credit in that system, and you can do this international calls using the internet, which is very cheap compared to the regular phone. So I did that, and I connected amazingly like a couple of peoples, and trying to encourage that they use the some kind of lines or WhatsApp or something, but that always came back with difficulty. I send a QR code or something like a message to open up their own app, and but it always very, very difficult to do so, because I think even though they're doing the right thing, I think somehow a glitch in this international calls or app. I would say something to do with the allowing some other people to contact you, and most of those international apps are more or less like you cannot just call. You have to realize, or you have to admit that particular friends is registered as a friend. Then you can call them, and because of that I have lots of difficulty. But I think I connected by text, like a WhatsApp. I connected my old friends using WhatsApp by text, not the video call. Video calls fail, but the text is I think I can communicate with them. But then again, also realized that they are so busy and they don't have time to meddle with this annoying international call or whatever. So yeah, that's another thing. And also they are getting old also as well, and maybe it's a little bit cumbersome for them to do so, but some people are very, very rigorous in following up, even though I didn't connect. But somehow, at least we got connected with a phone. That is very, very good thing. And I realized this Talk 360 is very, very nice, because with minute amount of funds, you can talk on their own landline phone, and you can have a conversation, which is very nice actually. So I kind of keep on doing that to try to connect, encouraging them to use some kind of a these free apps on their phone to have a conversation with me. Okay, that set aside, the one thing I noticed is that the feeling. I'm always wondering, of course they are very, very glad to get a call from me, and I could see that, but at the same time I know maybe it's very, very difficult to connect, or somehow, or we are friends long time ago, 50 or even 60 or 70, 50 or 60 years old ago, 60 years old, after 60 years old, you may hardly remember who they are, but of course they remember, and of course they try their best to respond to my incessant request. And then my old questions remains there. Although I'm trying for myself, yes, if they don't want to do that, I think they can simply not respond, or just respond as much as they can. And I could see that. I could see their attitude. So accordingly, I try to behave. But unless I give them a message that, how are you, or whatever it is, very, very simplistic, what's the weather, how is a high temperature this summer in Europe or whatever, you can make that kind of a message even. I think that's innocuous, I would say, and I don't think it's not annoying. So I like to do that, because connecting with friends and acquaintances, relatives, are very, very, I think it's important. As long as I could tell, like people in Okinawa, for example, they have this regular meeting with the friends and the socialize, and that they think it's one of the secrets that they are healthy at maybe old age. And so for my sake, definitely I should be doing that. A while ago, maybe a year ago or so, I was skeptical about opening conversation with old friends. But now I am all for it. Just because those conversation is free, you don't have to have any funny, fun. Only thing you have to have a like a smartphone, and you download a free app like Line, WhatsApp type of thing, and then you can connect. So yeah, I think I realized for myself that made me give me a very very strong like a intention of life, or the fun or pleasure of life in later years. I have a tremendous pleasure talking to the people I used to know. And my niece and nephews, for example, I met them when I was like like 40 years ago or something like that. But I was so glad, and when we connected, we kind of rejoiced ourselves, even though I don't have to have that kind of conversation all the time. If you had a conversation once a year, I am very very satisfied. So I realize that's probably also good for them too, because they're like working and very very busy. Of course I cannot talk to them during the night, or I cannot talk to them during their work hours, and so I have to be very careful when I call them. But even then, I'm very satisfied if I had connected, and I always know that I can call them or whatever. Then that particular feeling is very very nice. I feel connected, right? I think that's connection. The feeling of connection is very very nice. I think just like you made friends everywhere, internationally, and you have this tremendous feeling of peace, connecting with other old friends, and new friends. I'm not sure new friends is something kind of difficult, because an old friend, you spend some time with them, and you know their demeanors, you know their characters, so you can get along with them. But new friends is still, you have to somehow figure out, is this particular friend is good, going to be good friends or not, or you can keep the conversation, and it's very very difficult. So you have to have more or less like face to face acquaintance with this person, and talking face to face sometime to get to know. I think it's very difficult to get know online and try to make a conversation, even though if you really like them and if you feel like they really enjoying it also, then that particular conversation will continue. But most of the time it not continue. I think one thing, once is now to talk with this person for a while, but then maybe I can go back to open the conversation again a year later, and that's okay too. That's probably the way it's going. It seems like it's going like that, once a year or twice a year, something like that. Unless you have a special issues that you want to talk about, then that's tremendously different. And I think we are trying to find out a special common interest in conversation, but for some reason, and even that is kind of not that easy. Yeah, it's not easy. Although I feel myself, I like to make time more to have a conversation with them. But always in my mind, they don't not necessarily have that feeling the same as mine. So I had to be kind of careful about that. But, so far in my own experience, I had tremendously joy of connecting or reconnecting with old friends. And so if you're a senior citizen, are you feeling the same way that I'm feeling? I tremendously recommend open up conversation with first you call them on the regular phone or if you find, I would say first get the Talk 360 on your cell phone. You pay like $10 or $20, and that particular funds remains long time, even though you're calling Japan or Germany or something like that. It doesn't cost that much. So I tremendously recommend you first get Talk 360, and then you can ask them if they have WhatsApp or Line, which are the free apps on your cell phone to open up video calls. Like Skype used to be Skype, but now Skype is gone. I don't know if Skype is still active. And Zoom and Google, Gmails, call. I think it's more involving because I don't think compared to Line or WhatsApp, those things is more or less like a desktop application with webcam or something like that. For cell phone, of course, cell phone you can use it, and but I think it's a little bit cumbersome. But it shouldn't be. I did that. Google Meet, for example, I did that. So it doesn't have to be that particular difficulty. But I think Line, WhatsApp are much more simpler and easier, probably, even for senior people. So I recommend that. And so one thing that I noticed is that what you're gonna talk about. Of course, when you first time you call them video call, for example. Oh yeah, I'm so glad that we connected. Oh, well, we used to do this, and I remember you, or you look the same, or you look a little bit look young, or maybe older, maybe, or something like that. And that's the initial maybe 10 minutes of conversation, and then go into some other old friend. What happened to him of that? And I hear most of the time, well, he passed away a long time ago, which is shame, because I have been thinking about this particular friend when I met when I was young. But hearing that news is kind of tough. I could have done this a long time ago, this particular opening reconnection. But at that time, I didn't know that this type of thing existed, or something like that. But of course, it's not 10 years ago. This type of tools not existed, probably not. I remember using Skype at that time, maybe 10, 20 years ago. Skype was handy, but at that time, even the Skype was. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't using that much even. I really knew that was very handy to use it, and some friends at that time very commonly using Skype internationally. But I wasn't using that much. I think that because the people in Japan at the time, when I talked to them, can you use Skype? And they said, no, I don't know how to do it, so blah 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 blah, and I couldn't connect with Skype But today's app, like WhatsApp and Line, are so easy once you connect it. I think Line I have been using with Japanese because in Japan Line has been very popular and very easy to use. So, but WhatsApp, I connected by this tool to this old German friends. But we tried to do a video call, but we couldn't do it, and we ended up with just text messaging using WhatsApp, which is nice, which is I think much nicer than without connecting at all, because those text messages is free as well. So yeah, I would recommend to anyone who are getting, especially if you are senior citizen, and especially you are alone, more or less like not many friends to talk to during the course of day. I recommend, if you have a family, if you live with family members, you are handful there, especially if you have a daughters, grandsons, great grandson or whatever, you are handful there. You don't feel lonely that much, I don't think. But if you are living alone, for example, and you feel like you didn't talk to anyone an entire day, and ended up with watching TV or reading books, which is a good thing. Both of them are very good. They are good activities, and but nonetheless you feel that need for connecting with others and want to talk with them. I think that is a very good idea, because your mental function is really enhanced by talking to other people. And psychiatrists talk about this chemical, the oxytocin or something like that. You get in your brain that makes you very happy and content or whatever, and that is one of the key ingredients of being mentally as well as mentally healthy. And so when you get older, of course, one great fear is that your mental functions are going slowly down, regardless of your health or whatever, physical health, mental health, regardless. Your mental function, just talking or recognizing things or handling things, is getting less and less as we age. So for preventing that particular thing, I think socializing, I think research proved that very crucial. So that's how I decided to do that, and luckily this particular internet video call app in my cell phone is very handy, because I think calling old friends first and to reopen up friendship again is much tangible or easier than try to make a new friends that in the neighborhood or in the hobby circles or whatever. It's kind of difficult, but hobby circle I haven't done that much yet, But the one of the great my oncoming project of mine is to make my own circle of friends in the neighborhood and try to talk. And I kind of opened up a conversation with neighborhood, like next door neighbors and so forth, but they are not willing to do that, or they are not interested in doing so. So yeah, that's probably because they don't recognize you as a friend yet, even though you are acquainted, but they are still skeptical about what you are, and so you're not friends yet. But if you have a common hobbies, then I think that's much easier. So I'm eager to join that particular thing, if there is something like that here. So yeah, that's my current stage of me probably being enthusiastic about, and the thing that made me young again a little bit, because to do socializing you have to be, for example, you have to be prepared to see the person in front of you, because your hairstyles or whatever, you have to be taking care of your clothes, you're taking care of. And when you get older, you don't care that much how you look, for example. But I think that's very important. And I see that whenever I see the Japanese YouTube video for senior citizen, interviews of common people walking on the streets of Tokyo or something like that. They are impeccably dressed, very fashionably dressed. Wow, that's a culture there, and it's very, very cool to see that particular well-dressed man or woman in old age. So yeah, I had to do that here. It's a small town in Texas. Nobody care, nobody socialize with anyone. Therefore, yeah, I think that's kind of important. So I try to open the particular possibilities. So that's coming up though.